Daily, twice an hour, the police assemble on the platform at Rosenheim. And it's here that in the cold of a Bavarian winter, the multitudes step out into their promised land.
So, the next family, how much?
Among those being registered, the Ahuls from Aleppo. 2 sisters, their brother, and 5 children under 8.
One family. All. Okay, from Syria?
They've braved the sea from Greece and the frozen Balkans. One family among thousands. Here, the single men also are separated from groups and hidden identity papers searched for. This winter was meant to be a time when the numbers arriving slackened off. But no.
Our area in Rosenheim, yesterday we have 900 refugees, but you can say the last weeks up from 1 to 2,000 per day.
Okay.
Add those reaching other centres in Bavaria, and officials told us it totals 3,000 to 4,000 a day. At that rate, Germany will break last year's total of 1.1 million asylum seekers with ease. A few men were separated. Papers suggested they'd already registered in other countries, while others went on to refugee hostels, and the unlucky few were taken off for probable deportation. In the fastness of the Bavarian mountains, certain things are becoming chillingly clear for Germany, notably the failure to reach European solutions and the implications for this country. In this remote resort, Wildbad Kreuth, the CSU, the Bavarian branch of Angela Merkel's party, met for their annual conference, and they were in a state of revolt over their leader's migration policy.
So we need a quick solution, and a quick solution means that we have to consider border controls on national level, that we have to reject immigrants that still come to Bavaria in a very high number, 3,000 or 4,000 a day, and we want to make her clear that this is just not manageable.
How long has it got, do you think, before Germany imposes full border controls and takes matters into its own hands?
So I think it's a question of days or weeks, but not of months.
All the talk here was of a plan B, a German unilateral solution with untold consequences for the rest of Europe. In an attempt to staunch more trouble, Mrs. Merkel came to Kreuth. Her emphasis, even now, is one of joint solutions through European summits. But the record so far and actions of neighbours in taking unilateral steps suggest Germany is reaching a moment of decision.
Frankly, I don't really see those signals in Brussels now. Facts are being created on the ground. We're seeing Austria talking about upper limits, potentially then closing its borders, because that's what it implicitly means. So she certainly is seriously running out of time.
Hundreds of miles to the north, the Bavarian situation is making itself felt in Berlin. In an attempt to ease the tensions, several Berlin museums have signed up to a program using refugees as guides, educating both the Arab-speaking new arrivals and German visitors. Selma Dreier came 18 months ago from Syria. She's hoping Chancellor Merkel doesn't abandon her asylum policy.
Even though she has a lot of opponents right now who don't agree with this precise policy with refugees, but she's carrying on, and at the same time there are a lot of people who are encouraging her, and the people, the refugees themselves, really appreciate this because they are sensing that Germany is giving them more opportunities than other European countries are. So I say carry on, and as in Arabic we say b'shid'a'ida, so it's like we support her.
But in Berlin and elsewhere, the New Year's events in Cologne have shifted the debate. In the district of Landshut in Bavaria, the local mayor has started to defy government policy. He recently packed a bus full of refugees off to Berlin because he said there's no more room here. With dozens more arriving each week, the mayor says he fears social order breaking down.
Die Bevölkerung hat mittlerweile auch spürbar Angst, und es hat auch schon Vorfälle gegeben, Silvester in Köln und in vielen anderen Städten, und es gibt auch bei uns immer mehr Auseinandersetzungen und Vorfälle. Und diese Vorfälle kommen, wenn diese Menschen unwürdig untergebracht werden, viele Menschen in einer Halle oder eng begrenzt untergebracht und keine Arbeit haben und keine vernünftige Wohnung.
Mr. Dreier directed us to this place, one of several centres for hundreds of new arrivals in Landshut.
That's one. So, back in October, they ran out of space in proper hostels, and they've just had to open places like this up, one after the other. Disused retail or warehouses, schools being considered in another case, and they've had 180 people in here since October.
Cooped up here for months, little wonder boredom and frustration are growing. People told us they didn't feel safe, that there were frequent fights between different sectarian groups. Families, meanwhile, try to maintain some semblance of privacy behind flimsy curtains. And here too we found even Syrian refugees urging the German government to find a plan B.
Ja, zu viele Leute bekommt nach Deutschland, aber das ist von Deutschland Katastrophe auch bei Deutschland. Aber in Deutschland ist in Landshut oder München oder andere Stadt auch zu viele Leute aus Syrien oder aus dem Irak. Und falls Sie jetzt so viele Probleme mit Polizei oder andere mit Straße oder andere auch, machen wir vielleicht eine Person aus Syrien oder aus dem Irak hat zu viele trinken und machen wir mit Familie schlagen oder mit Personen alleine. Das geht nicht gut.
This is one of hundreds of temporary refugees across Germany, and with 3,000 plus new arrivals daily, even Merkel loyalists warn it's unsustainable.
I expect that from spring on the figures will go up again, and then we would be facing 2 million, and I think this is not an option, not even for Mrs. Merkel. Plan B would be much more popular, which would be really to reject refugees at the German outer borders. I know also that we are capable of doing it because the federal police and the army would be capable to secure the border. The plans are in existence, and they would just have to be triggered.
The German government still hopes to push its neighbours into doing more. But in Bavaria, a clear picture is emerging. People are still arriving in numbers that local authorities cannot cope with. It's a situation fraught with risk for the European project and for Chancellor Merkel.